it's being projected in a huge way, the Make in India campaign. I mean, very recently, one of my colleagues took a picture of this advertisement pasted on a bus in Zurich. From submarines to satellites, make everything in India. The second area, of course, in which Modi is interested would be diversifying India's defense purchase. I mean, that's one of the reasons why the Rafale deal has been signed with France. There are Indian defense analysts, many of them, who have been very much against this deal. They think it's a non-starter. Dependence on Soviet supplies would have been much better. This is more expensive. This essentially, saved the French company from collapsing, and we are not sure of ultimate delivery. I mean, perhaps we wouldn't get our first aircrafts before 2017 and 18. So many of the defense analysts have pointed out that this is suicidal. Just wonder. That the reason Modi decided to go for it because he wanted to diversify, and a greater engagement of European Union continues to be a part of this process of diversification. So we hope to see greater engagement between India and European Union, particularly with the German Chancellor due to visit India in October this year. And hopefully, if a final deal with this free trade agreement is clinched by that time, you will see greater engagement between the two middle powers in the global order. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So, thanks a lot, Professor, and sorry that I must cut the time, but I hope that we have quite interesting discussion. So, like Shantanu said, since 2007, we have discussion with India about the partnership agreement, but of course we still have a long way to finish this and to sign this agreement. But like you said, we have a lot of opportunities. But unfortunately, like Professor Guralczyk said, and you mentioned, we are not European Union. You mentioned about UK, France, Germany. So similar is in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. Since 2007, we have a strategic partnership. We have a lot of meetings between EU and Africa. So, if you look at institutional framework, we are quite good partners. But the question is about the implementation. And the next speaker is my colleagues from Brussels, is Sergey, who give you a speech about sub-Saharan Africa and opportunities for the EU. So the floor is yours. And of course, 10-11 minutes.
Okay, good, thank you. Good morning, and first of all, thank you for having inviting us to take part in this part of discussions regarding emerging markets, and we will be pleased to share our views and expertise regarding Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. My name is Sergey Ouattara. I'm the chairman of the EU-Africa Chamber of Commerce. We are based in Brussels and working with different partners in Africa and then in Europe as well. So let me first start a few minutes by presenting our chamber, and then after I will make a focus on the topic of the day. So basically we are based in Brussels, as I mentioned. We work with African diaspora professionals and also with actors in Africa. So far we have around 3,000 actors in our network, chambers of commerce, institutions, private sector, and so on. We work also with policy makers. Basically, our mission is divided in three parts. First of all, advocacy in front of EU policymaker, advocacy in front of African policymaker, and of course, as the Chamber of Commerce, business services to serve European and African private sector actors. The direction we tend to achieve the mission is divided into 4 pillars. First of all, high-level conferences and workshops we organize in order to facilitate meetings between policymakers and then private sector actors. The second point is networking and business services. Of course, to do business, we need to have meeting opportunities, so we also facilitate this. We focus on information and communication, share information between the two groups of people in EU and in Africa in order, of course, to facilitate business and improve policy making decisions. And then we have some different programs we are running, such as corporate social responsibility, entrepreneurship, and so on. So we provide different services. As I mentioned, we facilitate a meeting between those different stakeholders. We take part to a discussion within EU policymakers and African policymakers to provide input from the private sector, from Africa and then from Europe as well. We have also a global investment network, so that means project holder that can be public actors, governments or private actors can benefit from our network in order to find investor and the other way around, and other various services. I would like to make a focus on this program, Corporate Social Responsibility in Africa, which has been launched in 2014, and then we have received the support from the European Commission for that. Actually, the idea behind is to reward responsible business actors in Africa. So the last edition, we had those 5 companies winning the awards, and the next edition ceremony is planned in December. It could be decided either in London or Luxembourg. We have also another important topic we are working on is actually business centers. We have discussed about some issues. I will mention some issues, how to do business in Africa, and basically the idea is have business center where we provide various services, but as well we have our investment platform connected to that, and where various actors and academic actors also can get information on business between EU and Africa. Let's now make a focus on the topic of today. Allow me to make some comments on emerging markets and remind some global understanding, some common understanding of what is an emerging market. These are five characteristics we have identified for emerging markets. First of all, low per capita income, rapid growth on those markets, high volatility. We can mention natural disaster and impacts on prices, external prices. We have political instability. Capital markets are not very mature, and then last we have high average return for investor, of course. Those are export-driven strategy, and of course we have low cost for goods and commodities. What makes emerging markets attractive? So we have identified 3 different points. First of all is that they are new market with increasing middle class, especially when talking about Africa. We have diaspora going back to their countries, becoming political leaders and business leaders, and then we have these middle class for which there is no services available. So we have differences, very poor and very rich, but this middle class is missing and means business opportunities. We have, second point, low wages and high quality labor. This is an opportunity, especially in Africa. We have spoken a lot about China, about Asia, but now things are moving on also in Africa, and then investors and companies are understanding that there is an opportunity in Africa to have low wages, but also high qualified actor and labor force. That is sourcing. Now with the pressure on international markets, it's important to have efficient operations to lower costs, and then we have global value chain. So again here, there are good opportunities in Africa to outsource for companies. So some advices from our side. But before that, I will mention something which is not in the presentation, but some opportunities we mentioned in the beginning regarding Africa. What are the opportunities in Africa? There is a lot of opportunity, but to make a focus on some of them, we have manufacturing industry. There's a lot of things to do. Africa has been mainly exporting raw materials. But there is a ground for producing locally, manufacturing, having products with international quality standards, and then put them on international market. The other point is services. A lot of needs in terms of services. You are in different countries, you need to rent a house, you don't know where to go, you need to have entertainment, nowhere. Those basic services available in Europe are not available in Africa, especially as I mentioned for middle class. So there are opportunities. Let's speak about financial opportunities. Interest rates provided by banks, 15, 20, sometimes 30% interest rate. So there is a real opportunity for financial actors to provide their services there. We have need for capacity building. Need to raise capacity of different actors, and business leaders are demanding. They are looking for capacity building in order to face the challenges they have on international markets. You know, now Africa cannot be seen as a market aside the global markets. Those companies need to be resilient to different financial economic crises. So they need to be aware, they need to be trained, they need to benefit from experience from other countries. So these are some of the opportunities that I can mention in Africa. In terms